All right, I am returning to my Sondheim Park after 4 years of not looking at it, and maybe 2 years of not playing Parkitect. Now, the reason why I'm coming back to this Sondheim Park after 4 years is that I can finally finish it. With the with the premiere of his most recent and newest and last musical, Here We Are, I can finally finish this section. You can see that I have a section over here that's kind of in development because at the time of making this park, of course, I knew nothing about this musical that he was making. But anyways, to quickly recap, actually, I did a video about this park 4 years ago. You can see the whole tour of it. Link over there or wherever, I don't know. But in any case, a quick tour. I basically have made sections for each of the musicals that he's ever written. For instance, in this first section, I call this the New York section. You can see the train running through the entire park, which is called, I think, the Another 100 People train. But anyways, here's like Brooklyn. Here's a lot of rides, things that represent different shows. Like this is from Saturday Night. Here's the Jets over here. Here's like a West Side Story sort of area. Behind this, I have the London area, the City on Fire, Asylum, barber chair, swinger razors. There's some pie shops down there. Yeah, and Follies is over here somewhere too. Here's the Wiseman Theater. Yeah, so that's that. Whatever's this rose's turn because it looks like a rose. That's from Gypsy. Here's the Assassin's Pier. There's a bunch of games and a Ferris wheel. Oh no, it's raining. That's okay. Here's Boca Raton from his show's Roadshow, Bounce. Later in the show, they go to Alaska, so here's some Alaskan mine train. Over here is Hades, the underworld from his musical The Frogs. There's a little boat ride in Hades, and of course here's something that does not look like a frog, but there it is. I gotta make this section look a little nice. It's not that great. Over here is Japan, Pacific Overtures. Here are 4 black dragons. These 4 roller coasters compete with each other. Beautiful flower blossoms. Food court there. I think that's the only ride in this section. They all arrive back at the station at the same time, all 4 of them. So even though it looks like some are faster than others, they all arrive at the same time. Here's actually the American ship and Teacups ride over here. Ironically, I live in Japan now. When I made this 4 years ago, I would never have thought I would have been living in Japan right now. Here is the island of the Grand Jatte from maybe I pronounced that wrong. I did take French for 4 years and I forgot it all. Anyways, j'ai oublié tout mes français. From Sunday in the Park with George, that musical, and in the second act takes place in the modern times where there's a laser show, so there's that right over here. Here's the ruined castle from his 1994 musical Passion. Here's what I call the Heartbreaker because there's a ride. This ride is called the Heartbreaker. One of his most romantic musicals that he's done. There is the castle, the garden. Over here, this is I'm skipping sections. This is a little night music where they go in on a weekend in the country. So they start in this little Scandinavian town and off they go. And they end up here in the country and they come back here. Perpetual Anticipation. I would like a ride that just kept going higher and higher and higher, but that's not, of course, not an option. Here is What Do We Do? We Fly. That's from one of his musicals he did not enjoy doing, Do I Hear a Waltz? He wrote the lyrics to that one. Richard Rodgers wrote the music. Here is Ancient Rome. Here are the 3 houses from A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. Here is a Pretty Little Picture ride. This ride over here is a go-karts ride that goes through the 7 hills of Rome, which is one of the subplots in the musical. There's 7 hills, and it goes through all of them. Here's Anyone Can Whistle, this kind of western town. Here's the Miracle Rock, where the water's coming out of there. Did I hear music? Okay. And here is the Miracle Waters, kind of an afterthought of a ride. But there it is, the cookie jar where the crazy people go. And here is the woods, where we have Jack's Beanstalk. I have some clouds up here. What ride is this? Chasing the Prince. So I guess this just goes around the outskirts of the castles there. Here's Rapunzel's tower. Yeah. So basically, that's what it is. Anyways, I have some ideas for what I will do for Here We Are. One thing that I will have to do is reformat and kind of give some more space for this area here, because I did not leave myself a lot of space to build the things that I want to build. But I will explain what I've built after I finish building it. So I see you after this jump cut. All right, we are back. I have spent several hours building my new section of Here We Are. Let me first tell you kind of the changes I made. Firstly, this go-kart used to go across this bridge here and wander these 7 hills, but now I've made a reroute behind these Roman houses, and now I've made a Roman aqueduct here, with the premise maybe these miracle waters have some springs and they're feeding in. Look, it has to. Don't worry about that. It just goes into this area. Doesn't matter. But anyways, I rerouted that. I had thought that the Here We Are section would start over here, but actually I found I've actually moved the entrance to this side here. And actually it's okay, sorry, this is so unhinged. This is probably the most unhinged ride I've ever made. It's probably because I haven't been back in like 4 years to work on this, and it's probably the most unhinged show that Sondheim has written. Once again, Here We Are is the most the final last show that he wrote. It's very absurd, and in fact, actually, there are 2 rides in here to represent the 2 acts in the musical. You can see the first act is called The Road. So the premise of the first act is basically like all the protagonists get into a car. They're hungry. They want to get some lunch. So they just drive. But one by one, they visit 3 restaurants. But for whatever reason, they can't eat. So that's Act 1. And so this is the best thing that I have to a car ride. I didn't actually want to make the entrance on this side because then it'd be too close to this car ride here. But this is the other type of safari car ride. So anyways, they get into the car. You can see that the entrance is here. They get into the cars. They go into the first restaurant called Cafe Everything. And in Cafe Everything, they go into the restaurant and they're just out of food. They try to order, but they find out the waiter tells them, "Yep, there's no food in here." So off they go to the next restaurant, to Bistro à la Mode, which is a deconstructionist like restaurant, very avant-garde. Basically, when they get there, they realize there is a funeral in the back room for the head chef, who has recently died. So here in the back room, here we have a funeral is taking place. You can see a coffin and candles and flowers and everything, and all the wait staff is back here. Imagine writing this, and then you're writing by this awful, terrifying scene. Anyway, so protagonists decide not to eat here. They go to the next restaurant, to Osteria Zeno, where there's so much food. They're so excited for all this food. This should not be here. For all this food. So they sit down and eat, but they are interrupted by Homeland Security or whatever, breaking through and arresting one of the protagonists or whatever for smuggling drugs. And they realize that the food here is fake anyways. They can't even eat the food. And then they arrive back. They're still hungry. They didn't get to eat any of it. And that's all of Act 1. So here's what happens after Act 1. So after Act 1, of course, they go into Act 2. They decide to go back into the embassy. So over here, I've made this embassy here. Oh, right now, okay, he's coming back. James Walsh is coming to fix this ride. Coming to the embassy where they do eat a meal. However, here's the very, very unhinged part. So after they ride this ride, they come over here to these crossroads. They can't go this way. They can't go left back to the main path because it says staff only. Actually, guests can come in this way if they do actually want to ride this. So there are 2 options: are either ride this ride through here, 9 rounds of that, $20, very overpriced. But if they do ride it, they just get to go back into there. The other option, maybe it is, maybe it's not. expensive enough. $40. I don't want people to I want to make money off of this. The other option is they go down this path here, and you can see some people are going down this path. So it just looks simple. La 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 la. So basically, if they want to go back to the main path, to the rest of the park, they either have to take this ride or just go down this path, which is la 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 la, a little zigzag. I give them benches. But then it goes underground. Goes underground for quite a bit. It goes underground for quite a bit until it pops out right over here where it joins the main path. Just kidding. These rainbow signs say that no one can go through except for staff. I put this here just so staff can maintain these things, and I do give them balloons here. Anyway, sorry, the point of Act 2, and here we are, is that they go into the embassy where they do finally eat a meal. However, once they get into the room or the house, they realize they're trapped. It doesn't explain why they're trapped. They're just trapped. It's an absurdist play, absurdist second act. Anyways, they get trapped, and after several days, they're hungry, they're thirsty, and they're hopelessly trapped. Eventually, they do get out. But, anyways, they do come out of here where I taunt them with, look, the path is right over here. But unfortunately, these signs say you cannot go through, so you must keep walking. There's no food anywhere except for balloons. Maybe they can eat balloons. I'm just taunting them with balloons. I'm sorry. But after that, it just goes down here. It goes under here for a little bit. You can see that it follows here. It finally emerges. I just wanted them to have a nice view. They can see the farms. They can see these roller coasters, and it goes down again. It goes down again. You can see these poor people walking for ages, trying to get back to the main path. This person is so tired of walking. Look, you have a blue sombrero. Why are you so sad? They're in a rush. They're in a rush to get out. Anyways, they keep walking and keep walking, where they finally emerge right at the start again, back at square one. And in fact, square one was the original title of this musical that Sondheim had announced. But they changed it to Here We Are. In any case, this might be the only ride in this entire park that kind of takes you through the whole journey of the musical, beginning to end. So, of course, the first act, visiting each of the 3 restaurants, forcing you into the second act, where you either ride this clock ride, or you have to walk the entire length, where you get tired and hungry and thirsty, and it's until you get popped out right here at the beginning again. By the way, guests cannot be coming in through this way because I put some signs saying they cannot enter. Oh, look who's... Oh, it says just the security guard who's about to make it through. And we'll come back to this. Well, sombrero guy's about to make it through. Anyways, now completing this, I will call my Sondheim Park complete. It's been literally like 5 years in the making. Many hours have been spent on this. Each of his musicals is represented. Easter eggs are hidden in between. Watch my previous musical or my previous video from 5 years ago to see all the details. These rides have music attached to it, though they're not loading correctly. But in theory, if you ride each of the rides, you'd hear his songs and whatnot. Anyways, that is it. Thank you so much for following this unhinged whatever this is. Bye.